Have you ever noticed how often in life people cry out for what they want, yet feel as if the heavens remain silent? They pray, they hope, they wish, but nothing seems to move. They plead for more money, yet their bank account stays the same. They beg for an opportunity, but the door remains shut. And so they begin to wonder, is anyone listening? Is anything responding at all? Here is the startling truth, one that once seen cannot be unseen. The universe does not respond to pleas. It responds to commands. This is not a harsh truth. It is a liberating one. Just as your body moves when you command your hand to rise, so too does the universe move when you command wealth to flow. You do not plead with your hand. You do not beg your foot to step forward. You command, and it obeys. The same authority has always been yours over money, though you may have forgotten. Consider a king seated on his throne. Do you imagine him whispering timid requests to his court, hoping they will take pity on him? No. A king decrees, and his words become law. His command sets forces into motion. So it is with you, though you may have wandered far from your throne of abundance. For most of humanity, this royal power has been veiled. Instead of commanding riches, many unknowingly command lack. Listen closely, and you will hear the commands of poverty whispered daily in conversations all around you. I can't afford that. Money never stays with me. Things are getting worse. Each phrase spoken with conviction is a decree issued from the throne of one's own authority. And the universe, which is always listening, simply obeys. I recall a woman named Elena who lived many years in struggle. She was faithful, hardworking, and diligent. Yet her words were filled with pleas. Please, God, send me more money. Please, universe, just give me a break. When we first spoke, I asked her gently, if your servant was in the next room, would you whisper, please bring me water someday? Or would you say, bring me water now? She paused, then laughed at the absurdity, and in that moment her eyes shone with recognition. She had been begging when she should have been commanding. From that day, she shifted her speech. She began declaring, money comes to me with ease. I command doors of opportunity to open. I decree increased flows into my life now. At first, it felt strange, almost arrogant. But within weeks, new clients began calling. Unexpected checks arrived. What had once been delayed now seemed magnetized to her presence. She had not become lucky, she had remembered her forgotten power. This principle, though simple, carries immense weight. To plead is to affirm you are powerless. To command is to affirm you are sovereign. Pause here and let this truth settle into your spirit. Think of the countless moments when you have begged for what was already your birthright. Feel the shift as you realize that the universe has never withheld from you. It has only been awaiting your command. Do you feel the stirrings of remembrance? Do you sense the crown being set upon your head again? Money is not aloof, hiding beyond reach. It is like a loyal soldier awaiting clear orders. But when your orders are muddled with fear or never spoken at all, money waits in stillness. The moment you command with certainty, it marches. Now I invite you to imagine this scene. You stand in a vast hall, golden light pouring from unseen windows. Before you is a great throne, radiant, majestic, awaiting you. This is not a throne of vanity, but of rightful dominion. Upon it is inscribed, Commander of Supply, Keeper of Wealth. As you approach, notice how the hall itself responds. The air grows vibrant as if charged with attention. The universe itself is listening. and as you take your seat, a staff of command is placed in your hand. This vision is no fantasy. It is a symbol of your true nature. When you speak with command, you are not forcing reality. You are reminding it of its allegiance to you. You are the sovereign of your financial destiny. So now, take this truth into your own voice. Whisper it if you must, but say it. I command abundance into my life. I command money to flow with ease. I command opportunity, wealth, and prosperity to align with me now. Feel the authority in your chest as you declare it. The timid voice of pleading fades, and the clear resonance of command takes its place. This is the forgotten power that belongs to you. And so, if you've ever felt tired of waiting for money, tired of hoping and pleading, tired of wondering if life has passed you by, declare it now with boldness. Type it, write it, shout it into the atmosphere.
I command.
This is your first step in awakening the money commander within. Since the dawn of time, humanity has wrestled with its place in creation. Are we helpless wanderers at the mercy of fate and circumstance? Or are we rulers entrusted with authority over the world around us? The answer, though, often buried beneath layers of doubt, fear, and conditioning, has always been written in the fabric of existence. Dominion is your birthright. Open the first pages of sacred scripture, and the story is clear. In the book of Genesis, it is written that humankind was created in the image and likeness of God, given authority to have dominion over the fish of the sea, the birds of the air, and every living thing that moves on the earth. Dominion, not servitude. Authority, not begging. This was not a gift for a chosen few. It was the original inheritance of every man and woman who breathes upon this earth. But somewhere along the journey, that truth was obscured. Instead of rulers, many learned to think of themselves as beggars in a vast, unfriendly universe. Instead of commanding supply, they learned to scrape, to toil, to plead for what was already theirs. Wealth began to be viewed as something selfish or shameful, rather than the natural evidence of one's alignment with divine dominion. Yet money, like the earth itself, was always designed to respond to the one who knows their authority. Consider the gardener in springtime. She does not stand over the soil and plead with the seeds. Please, little seeds, grow for me if you can. She knows the law. She plants with confidence, waters with faith, and commands the environment, sun, water, and soil to do its work. And what happens, the seed responds, for it was created to obey the one who tends it. Money is no different. Money is a seed, a servant, a responsive element of creation. It was never meant to be your master. It was never designed to dominate you with fear or scarcity. You were placed here with the authority to command it, just as surely as the gardener commands her garden to flourish. Now pause and imagine this scene. You are walking into a vast throne room, brighter than sunlight, yet soft as silk. At the far end, there is a throne carved of radiant stone, and it is not empty, it waits for you. As you step forward, every doubt, every guilt about wanting more begins to dissolve. You feel a robe settle on your shoulders, not of fabric, but of light woven with strands of authority and abundance. This robe was always yours, though you may have laid it aside in years past. You are reminded you are not here to scrape by, you are here to reign. Reigning over money does not mean greed. It does not mean hoarding or clinging. True dominion is stewardship, the power to direct wealth for good, to let it flow in through and around you, like the rivers of Eden. Dominion means you can say, I command increase, and watch it arrive, not in arrogance, but in alignment with the law of your being. But here is the quiet tragedy. Many live their entire lives commanding lack without ever realizing it. A woman sees a dress she desires and says, I can't afford that. A man receives a bill and mutters, money's always leaving me. A family sits at the table and sighs. Things are just getting harder and harder. Each statement is a decree. Each word is a command issued from the throne, and the universe, ever obedient, fulfills the command. Do you see the irony? People are commanding all the time. They command shortage, they command struggle, they command delay. Then they wonder why abundance seems distant. It is not that the law of command is broken. It is that it works so faithfully it even honors unconscious decrees. But now you awaken. Now you remember. You do not command lack anymore. You will not use your divine authority to summon chains. You will use it to open the floodgates of supply. Let me tell you the story of James. James grew up believing money was dangerous. His parents argued over it, bills were always late, and the unspoken family creed was, we just never have enough. When James became an adult, he repeated the pattern. Despite working hard, he found himself constantly saying, I'll never get ahead. Life's expensive. There's too much month at the end of the money. He did not realize he was issuing decrees from his inner throne, and life was dutifully obeying. When James was introduced to the law of dominion, he felt skeptical. Are you telling me I've been commanding my own lack all these years? The answer was simple, yes. He had been faithful to a kingdom of scarcity, but the good news, the moment he chose, he could shift his allegiance. And so he began shakily at first to change his words. I command overflow. Money comes easily to me. I live in perpetual supply. It was not instant, but as the weeks passed, something shifted. New contracts appeared, debts resolved. A peace settled in his heart where anxiety once lived. He laughed one day and said, it feels like life finally got the memo. But the truth was, life had always been listening. James simply remembered his throne and began speaking like the king he was. And so, dear listener, I tell you now with love, wealth is not sin. Prosperity is not shameful. Dominion is not arrogance, it is obedience to the law of your creation. To deny wealth is to deny your authority. To live in constant lack is to live beneath your inheritance. Close your eyes for a moment and breathe deeply. Feel the truth settle within you. I was born to reign. Dominion is my birthright. I command money, and money obeys. I rule over wealth with wisdom, joy, and generosity. Now bring this awareness into your daily life. The next time you hear yourself mutter, I can't afford that, pause. Replace it with, I choose to invest in what serves me. The next time you feel the weight of bills, instead of sighing, declare, I command provision. Every need is met before I ask. Watch how quickly the environment begins to respond to your new decrees. Remember this always. The gardener does not apologize for the flowers that bloom under her care. Neither should you apologize for the wealth that blooms under yours. For your dominion blesses not only you, but all whose lives are touched by your abundance. So now, I ask you in the spirit of honesty and awakening, what commands of lack have you been speaking over your life? Perhaps it was casual, perhaps it was habitual, but today you see them for what they are. Share one way you might have been accidentally commanding lack in your life. By speaking it, you bring it to light, and what is revealed can be transformed. This is the second step in awakening the money commander within reclaiming your dominion, your birthright, your throne. Have you ever listened closely to the conversations happening all around you? In the grocery line at the cafe, even in your own home, if your ears are tuned to it, you will hear a symphony of lack, a chorus of poverty, commands being issued daily without awareness. People do not even realize that with every sigh, every complaint, every dismissive phrase about money, they are shaping the reality that follows them like a shadow. Words are never empty. They are commands cloaked in casual speech, and the universe, obedient as always, takes them seriously even when you speak them with a laugh. Think of the phrase, "I can't afford that." How many times have you said it or heard it? To the untrained ear, it sounds harmless, but to the law of command, it is a decree of limitation. Each time you say it, you reinforce to the universe, "Keep wealth from me, shut the door to supply." Or perhaps you've said money doesn't grow on trees. This phrase, passed from parent to child, like a family heirloom, carries the weight of generations. It teaches scarcity. It imprints lack. Yet the irony is rich for what is money but paper. And what does paper grow from if not trees? The universe chuckles at our contradictions, but still obeys the command. Then there is the common lament. There's never enough. Notice how absolute it sounds. Not sometimes, not in this moment, never. Spoken with conviction, it becomes a lifelong sentence handed down by your own mouth. Let me share with you the story of a young man named Michael. Michael worked tirelessly, but every payday the money seemed to vanish as quickly as it came. When asked about his situation, he often said, "I'm always broke." That's just my reality. He wore the phrase like a badge of truth, not realizing it was a chain he had forged himself. One day, a mentor gently asked him, "Why do you keep commanding poverty?" Michael was shocked. "I don't command poverty," he argued. "I'm just telling it like it is. But here is the secret. When you say I'm broke, you are not describing reality, you are commanding its continuation." The mentor encouraged him to replace the phrase with a new decree: "Money flows to me. I am a magnet for wealth." At first, Michael felt silly, but slowly his reality began to change. Side opportunities appeared. His paychecks stretched further. Within months, he was no longer always broke. Why? Because he stopped issuing poverty commands. Now let us turn the light towards you with love and without judgment. Think about the phrases that have passed through your lips. Have you ever said, "Easy come, easy go"? That is a command for money to leave as quickly as it arrives. Have you joked, "I'm just bad with money"? That is a decree sealing your financial behavior. Have you sighed, "I'll never get ahead"? That is a prophecy you've handed to the universe on a silver platter. Laughter and humor often disguise these commands. A friend jokes, "Well, I guess I'm destined to be poor," and everyone laughs. Yet the universe does not laugh. It hears the words and says, "So be it." That is why Florence Scovel Shinn taught that the game of life is played with words. Words are your wand, and with them, you cast spells of wealth or spells of poverty. To make this clearer, imagine a courtroom. You are the judge seated at the bench. Each time you speak, your words are recorded and entered into law. If you say, "I'm drowning in debt," the clerk writes it down, the bailiff enforces it, and the law is carried out. But if you say, "I command wealth and freedom," the same machinery moves to enforce abundance. Which courtroom are you presiding over, one of lack or one of prosperity? Here is a small but powerful practice for the next 24 hours. Listen intently to every word you speak about money. Do not judge, simply observe. Catch yourself in the act of commanding poverty. When you hear it, stop and replace it immediately with a command of wealth. If you catch yourself saying, "I can't afford it," replace it with, "I choose not to spend on that right now because greater abundance is coming." If you catch yourself sighing, "Money is so hard to keep," replace it with, "Money flows to me and stays with me in perfect order." Awareness is the first step to transformation. You cannot change what you do not recognize. Once you shine the light on your poverty commands, you strip them of their hidden power. And now, in this sacred moment, I invite you to make a vow to yourself. You will never again speak carelessly about money. You will not hand out commands of lack disguised as jokes or complaints. You will not decree scarcity over your life. From this moment forward, your words will be wealth. Your speech will be supply. Your mouth will be the trumpet of abundance. So let us seal this step together. Say aloud with conviction, "I banish every poverty command. I speak only wealth, only increase, only abundance. My words command prosperity, and prosperity obeys." And now, dear one, I ask you, comment one phrase you will never say about money again. By declaring it publicly, you strip it of its grip and replace it with the power of conscious command. This is the third step in awakening the money commander within recognizing and breaking the chains of poverty commands. Words are powerful, but words infused with emotion are unstoppable. A command without emotion is like a trumpet with no sound. It may be lifted, but no note is heard. Yet when emotion fills your decree, the universe cannot ignore it. It is the vibration of your feeling that stamps your words with authority, the seal of fire that makes the invisible move into the visible. Think of a military commander. He does not whisper orders in trembling tones, hoping his soldiers might take him seriously. No, he speaks with clarity, with force, with certainty. His voice carries the weight of unshakable conviction, and because of that, his orders are carried out without hesitation. Compare this to a hesitant subordinate stammering requests, unsure of his right to command. Which voice moves the battalion into action? Which voice carries authority? So it is with money. You may speak the words, "I am wealthy," but if you whisper them with doubt, fear, or desperation, the universe hears the tremor beneath the syllables. It hears the unspoken command. "I hope this is true, but I don't believe it." And that hidden vibration becomes the real decree. This is why many people feel frustrated with affirmations. They repeat words 100 times a day, yet nothing changes. Why? Because the words are hollow, recited with anxious energy, as though trying to force belief. The universe does not respond to hollow chants. It responds to words charged with the electricity of conviction. Imagine holding a tuning fork. When you strike it, it vibrates at a specific frequency, and anything in the environment attuned to that frequency begins to resonate. This is how emotion works. Your words are the tuning fork, but your emotion is the vibration. If you speak with the resonance of confidence, wealth begins to vibrate toward you. If you speak with the resonance of desperation, lack begins to resonate instead. Let me share the story of Alicia. For years, she recited affirmations faithfully. I am rich. I am abundant. Money flows to me. But deep inside, she felt anxious and unworthy. Her voice shook as she said the words, and her heart whispered, "This isn't true." She grew discouraged, thinking affirmations were nothing more than empty slogans. But then she learned the principle of emotional authority. One morning, instead of repeating the words in fear, she paused. She placed her hand over her heart, breathed deeply, and remembered a time she had felt powerful when she had stood on stage and given a presentation that earned a standing ovation. She summoned that same energy of confidence, that same inner fire. Then, with her chest lifted and her eyes bright, she declared, I command money to flow to me. I am worthy of wealth. The difference was electric. Her voice rang with authority. Her whole body hummed with alignment. She spoke not as a beggar reciting wishes, but as a sovereign giving orders. Within weeks, she received an unexpected promotion at work. Her side business grew. She laughed as she realized the words were always important, but it was the feeling that made them magnetic. Beloved, here is the secret emotion, is the fuel of command. Words alone are like seeds lying dormant on the ground. But when planted with the water of emotion, they spring to life. Speak with joy, with certainty, with calm authority, and the universe moves. Now pause and reflect. What emotional frequency do you usually command from? Do you speak with fear, with uncertainty, with the energy of lack? Or do you speak with calm power, with the authority of one who knows they are already supplied? Here is a simple practice. The next time you make a decree, do not rush the words. First pause. Close your eyes. Breathe deeply. Remember a moment when you felt unshakably powerful, a time you succeeded, a time you stood tall, a time you were applauded, respected, or deeply proud. Summon that memory until you can feel it in your body. Then, from that state of emotional authority, speak your command. Say, I command money to flow to me now. I command opportunity. I command wealth in perfect order. Notice how different it feels. Notice the resonance, the vibration, the certainty. This is not wishful thinking, it is dominion. Some people ask, but what if I don't feel confident? What if I'm scared? Then I tell them this: act the part until the part becomes real. Just as an actor can embody a king on stage, so can you embody the money commander in your own life. Stand tall, square your shoulders, lift your chin. Speak in a tone that carries power even if you feel shaky inside. With practice, the feeling will grow to match the action. Florence Scovel Shinn once said that one must act as if the thing is already done. She taught that faith is not timid, it is bold, expectant, vibrant. So when you speak your decree, embody the emotional state of one who already has what they command. If you decree wealth, speak as though wealth is already yours. Smile as if the money has already arrived. Relax as though the provision is already in your hand. This emotional alignment seals your command. Now let me lead you through a short exercise. Close your eyes. Imagine yourself standing before a vast audience. They are silent, waiting for your words. You feel the weight of authority on your shoulders, the kind of authority that cannot be questioned. You raise your hand, and the room holds its breath. With a voice that carries both love and power, you declare, "I stand in my power. I command money to obey me. I command abundance to manifest now." Feel the strength ripple through your body. Feel the energy vibrate outward like a wave touching everything around you. That wave is real. That wave is creation responding to your emotional authority. This is not arrogance. This is alignment. You are not forcing the universe, you are harmonizing with it. You are speaking from the truth of who you are, a sovereign, a ruler, a commander of supply. Remember always, desperation weakens command. Fear distorts command. But confidence, calmness, and certainty empower command. The more you practice emotional authority, the stronger your decrees will become. So now I invite you to make a declaration. Speak it aloud, write it down, and if your heart is ready, share it publicly. I stand in my power. Say it as a vow, not a wish. Say it as a decree, not a plea, and let the universe rush to obey. This is the fourth step in awakening the money commander within mastering emotional authority, the vibration that gives your words wings. There comes a moment in every awakening when knowledge is no longer enough. You may have heard the truth, tasted its power, even practiced its steps. But unless you shift your identity, the old self will always pull you back. To truly awaken the money commander within you, must stop being a money needer and become in every fiber of your being a money commander. This is not a small adjustment. It is a transformation, a rebirth. It is stepping out of one skin and into another, leaving behind the identity of the one who begs, who waits, who hopes, and embracing the identity of the one who commands, who directs, who reigns. Consider the difference between a servant and a master. The servant waits for permission, always reacting, always dependent. The master gives orders, sets direction, moves with confidence. Both may live in the same house, but their experience of life is entirely different. So it is with the one who needs money and the one who commands it. The money needer wakes up with questions like, will I have enough? How will I pay for this? Will money come this month? Their words drip with uncertainty. Their posture slouches with the weight of fear. They live as though money is a distant, elusive force that must be chased. The money commander wakes up with decrees. Money flows to me today. I command opportunities to appear. I rule over my finances with ease. Their words carry authority. Their posture radiates certainty. They live as though money is their ally, already obedient to their voice. Which identity have you been wearing? Look at your life, your speech, your emotions. Identity is not hidden. It shows itself in your daily posture toward money. But here is the glory. Identity can be shifted in an instant. The moment you decide I am no longer a money needer, I am a money commander, the shift begins. Let me tell you the story of Sophia. For years, Sophia was known in her family as the struggler. Whenever bills came, she sighed. Whenever her children asked for something extra, she said, "We can't afford it." She carried herself as though money were a cruel master and she its weary servant. One day, she heard a teaching that pierced her soul. Money obeys identity. If you are a struggler, money will give you struggle. If you are a commander, money will obey. The words struck her like lightning. For the first time, she saw that it was not her job, not her family, not the economy holding her back. It was the identity she had been wearing like a heavy cloak. Sophia decided to shift. She began to carry herself differently. She walked taller. She spoke with new authority. She told her children, "We are wealthy. Money serves us." At first they laughed, but slowly they began to believe it too. Within months, opportunities opened that had never been visible before. Sophia's small side business blossomed. Unexpected resources came into her life, and her entire household shifted from struggle to sovereignty. Why? Because she changed her identity. Identity reframing is the crown placed upon your head. Without it, commands may falter. With it, your very presence carries wealth. Now I invite you into a sacred visualization. Find a quiet place as you read these words and let your imagination open like a gate. Close your eyes and see yourself standing before a great mirror. But this is no ordinary mirror. It reveals not only your reflection, but your identity. As you gaze, you see the old self, the one who worried, the one who pleaded, the one who lived in scarcity. Notice the lines of strain upon their face, the heaviness in their shoulders, the dimness in their eyes. This is the money needer, and though they have served you in the past, their time is over. Now watch as a light begins to glow within the mirror. Slowly, the image changes. Before you now stands a radiant figure, your true self, the money commander. Their eyes are clear, filled with certainty. Their stance is tall, regal. Their voice, when they speak, carries authority that cannot be questioned. They wear a crown of light, a robe of abundance, and in their hand is a staff of command. This figure is you. Not a fantasy, not a distant dream, but your truest identity. Step forward in your mind's eye. As you merge with this figure, feel the crown settle on your head. Feel the robe of authority drape over your shoulders. Feel the staff of command in your hand. Now speak aloud in this vision. I am the money commander. Money obeys me. I rule with wisdom and generosity. I decree wealth, and wealth flows. I have shifted forever. Breathe deeply. Let the energy of this new identity fill every cell of your body. Identity is strengthened through practice. Just as an actor steps into character until it becomes second nature, so must you step into the role of money commander daily. Speak as they would speak. Walk as they would walk. Respond to bills, opportunities, and conversations as they would. When a bill arrives, instead of sighing, say, I command provision. This is paid in full. When you see something you desire, instead of whispering, I can't afford it, declare I am wealthy. If I choose this, the money will appear. When someone speaks lack around you, respond not with agreement, but with sovereignty. As for me, money flows endlessly. Identity is not a costume you put on once. It is the skin you choose to inhabit until it fuses with your being. Let me ask you, what happens when a person shifts from victim to victor, from follower to leader, from money needer to money commander? Their entire world bends to match the new identity. Opportunities that once seemed hidden suddenly glow like beacons. Money that once slipped away now stays and multiplies. People who once overlooked them now recognize their presence. Why? Because the universe recognizes authority. Creation itself bows to identity. The moment you say, "I am the universe," replies, "So be it." So here in this sacred space, let us mark your transformation. Before we enter the final guided visualization, I ask you invite others to join you in this journey. Share this message with someone who needs to command their abundance. Do not walk alone. Walk as a leader, calling others into their sovereignty. And now let us step fully into the money commander identity. Close your eyes once more. You stand at the entrance of a great hall. Pillars of gold rise to the ceiling, and the floor beneath your feet glimmers like glass. At the far end of the hall is a throne radiant and powerful. This is your throne, the seat of the money commander. As you walk forward, you hear a voice whisper, "You are worthy." With every step, old chains fall from your ankles, the chains of doubt, the chains of fear, the chains of poverty commands. They clatter to the ground and dissolve like smoke. When you reach the throne, attendants of light approach. One places a crown upon your head. Another drapes you in a robe of abundance shimmering with colors you have never seen. Another places a staff of command in your hand. You feel the weight of authority, but it is a joyful weight, a rightful weight. Now you sit upon the throne. The hall falls silent. All of creation waits for your words. You raise your staff, and your voice echoes with power. "I am the money commander. I command abundance now. I command money to serve me. I decree wealth, freedom, and joy. It is done." As your words ring out, the hall erupts in light. Rivers of gold flow from the throne outward. Doors open in every direction. You see opportunities rushing toward you, money streaming into your life, debts, dissolving accounts, overflowing. The light spreads beyond the hall into your home, your work, your future. Everything is touched by your decree. You smile because you know this is who you truly are, the money commander. Breathe deeply. Feel the throne beneath you. Feel the crown upon your head. Feel the staff in your hand. Let this vision seal itself into your spirit. From this moment forward, you cannot go back. The identity is yours forever. When you open your eyes, carry the energy with you. Walk, speak, and live as the money commander. This is the fifth and final step of part 1, not just learning, not just practicing, but becoming. You are no longer a seeker. You are no longer a beggar. You are no longer a money needer. You are the money commander. And money from this day forward obeys your voice. Money is a servant. It is not a master. It is an energy, a current of spirit waiting to obey the voice that calls it forth. Yet most people speak to money as beggars, not commanders. They plead, they hope, they wish, they worry. And the universe reflects their uncertainty back to them. But when you rise in authority, when you speak the language of command, the energy of money recognizes your voice and rushes to fulfill its duty. Think of it as placing an order in a fine restaurant. You do not whisper timidly to the waiter, if it's not too much trouble. Perhaps, "Could I maybe have the soup?" No, you open the menu. You choose with clarity and you say with calm authority, "I will have the roasted tomato soup." And the waiter writes it down, the kitchen prepares it, and soon it arrives at your table. Money is no different. It is the waiter of the infinite kitchen. When you give a vague order, "I just want more money," the kitchen is confused. It may send you a dime on the sidewalk, a refund of 50 cents, or a small unexpected coupon. The order was too vague. But when you command precisely, I command $5,000 to arrive in my account within 7 days under grace, in perfect ways, the infinite kitchen understands exactly what you mean. I once counseled a young woman who was desperate to pay her rent. She would cry at night, whispering, "Please let me have enough. Please let me have enough." But the money did not come. I asked her, "What exactly are you asking for?" She said, "Enough to get by." I said, "Enough is never enough. Enough keeps you scrambling. Speak with the voice of authority. Set the amount." She took a breath, steadied herself, and declared, "I command $1,200 to arrive in my account by Friday to pay my rent under grace in perfect ways." Her words rang with a new vibration. Within 2 days, she received a phone call her company owed her back pay from an overtime error. The exact amount, $1,200. She wept with gratitude, not only for the money, but for the discovery of her power to command. Notice the difference: begging versus commanding, pleading versus deciding, a wish versus a decree. The universe responds not to uncertainty, but to clarity. So let us begin crafting money commands together. Listen carefully to the form. Start with authority. Use words like "I command," "I decree," "I call forth." Be specific. Set the exact amount, the time frame, and the desired channel if needed. Release control. Always add "under grace in perfect ways," so that the universe chooses the best path for you. Examples: I command $5,000 to arrive in my account within 7 days under grace in perfect ways. I decree that $10,000 flows to me from my new business this month under grace in perfect ways. I command that unexpected checks and deposits show up in my account this week under grace in perfect ways. When you speak these words, do not whisper them. Speak as though you are addressing loyal servants who are eager to fulfill your request. Speak as though you already know they are running to obey you. Money is obedient. It is not stubborn, it is not capricious, it is not cruel. It only mirrors the energy of your words. Speak with trembling doubt, and it mirrors hesitation. Speak with royal command, and it mirrors obedience. One of my clients once laughed and said, "This feels too easy, like placing an order at Amazon." I smiled and replied, "Yes. Except the warehouse is infinite. There is no shortage of supply, and delivery is always on time when your words are clear." Here is your first practice. Speak aloud now. I command $5,000 to arrive in my account within 7 days under grace in perfect ways. Did you feel the shift? That firmness, that resonance in your body is the language of command. If you command lightly, like someone making a half-hearted wish, it will fall flat. But if you command with conviction, with the certainty that invisible servants are already running on your behalf, then the money is already on its way. And so, dear listener, your task today is to write your first money command. Do not wait until tomorrow. Do not water it down with vague phrases like abundance or more money. Be precise, be bold. The universe adores clarity. So here is your call to action. Write your first money command in the comments right now. Let it be your public declaration, your written order to the infinite kitchen. Do not fear ridicule. Do not fear impossibility. The act of declaring is the act of unlocking. Say it, write it, release it, and then watch how swiftly the universe responds. If commanding money is like placing an order in a fine restaurant, then obstacles are like blockages in the kitchen pipes. The soup is ready, the bread is baked, the waiter is on his way. Yet if the pipes are clogged, nothing flows smoothly to your table. In the same way, you may have given a perfect command for money, yet debt, doubts, or past beliefs may be obstructing the path. The command was heard, the supply is waiting, but the channel is blocked. This is why you must learn the second art commanding obstacles to dissolve. Imagine a wide, flowing river. Its current is strong and steady, meant to nourish fields and turn water wheels. But now, imagine great logs, branches, and debris have fallen into its path. The water still flows, but it cannot move freely. It pools, it stagnates, it overflows in strange directions. This is what happens when you carry debts, guilt, fear of loss, or shame about money. The supply exists, the river is abundant, but it cannot reach you clearly. So what must be done? The command is simple: remove the logs, clear the path. Speak with authority, not only to call money forth, but also to dissolve every obstacle in its way. I once worked with a man named David. He had been commanding faithfully for months. I command $10,000 to arrive in my account this month under grace in perfect ways. He said it daily, even with conviction. Yet no breakthrough came. When I asked him, "What do you feel when you say the word $10,000? His face tightened. Honestly, he said, "I feel a pit in my stomach because I have $9,500 in debt, and it feels like everything I receive just goes to patch that hole." Aha! His words were commanding, but his subconscious was still entangled with the obstacle. He was speaking prosperity while carrying the heavy log of debt in his chest. So I taught him a new form of command. I command every debt to dissolve, cleared, and paid in full under grace in perfect ways. I command money to flow freely to me, unobstructed under grace in perfect ways. He began declaring it daily. Within 2 weeks, he received an unexpected letter. One of his credit card companies forgave a balance of $3,200 as part of a settlement program. Another week later, a friend repaid him a loan he had long forgotten, $500. Within the month, his debt was cut in half, and the current of money began to flow in ways he had never seen before. This is the law: when you clear the block, the river runs. You too may carry invisible blockages. Perhaps you once lost money in a painful way, and the memory whispers it will happen again. Perhaps you carry shame from childhood when someone told you money doesn't grow on trees. Perhaps you are weighed down by overdue bills, thinking I'll never catch up. These are not truths. They are only logs in the river. They can be commanded to dissolve. When you speak your money command, add this declaration: I command every obstacle, every delay, every block against my financial flow to dissolve now under grace in perfect ways. Say it with authority. Say it until your heart feels lighter. Each time you speak it, you are not begging for the logs to move, you are commanding the river to clear itself. I have seen miracles happen when people dare to speak against the obstacle itself. A woman once told me, every time I get a raise, something breaks my car, my roof, my appliances. It's as if I can never keep the increase. I told her to command directly, I decree that the devourer is rebuked. Every drain on my finances is dissolved under grace in perfect ways. My money multiplies and stays. Within 3 months, not only did her finances stabilize, but she also received a check from her insurance company for overpayments she hadn't known about. She laughed. For the first time in years, I actually got to keep my raise. Do not underestimate the power of commanding blocks to move. Obstacles are not solid stone. They are vapor. They look like iron, but they melt when touched by the fire of command. So, dear listener, let us practice together now. Speak aloud. I command every obstacle to my financial flow to dissolve now. Debts vanish, delays dissolve, and lost opportunities are restored under grace in perfect ways. Feel how these words shift the atmosphere around you. Obstacles may seem immovable, but when you command with certainty, they must obey. The river of supply is infinite. The only thing that ever stops it is the debris of fear and belief. But when you speak, when you declare, when you command with authority, the river clears. And when the river clears, nothing can stop the flood of abundance that is already yours. So here is your call to action today. Share one financial block you are commanding to vanish. Declare it publicly, write it down, and release it. When you name the block and command it to dissolve, you weaken it. When you hide it in silence, it festers. Speak it, command it, and watch it dissolve. Once the river of money is flowing freely, once the obstacles are cleared and the current begins to reach you, you are ready for the higher art multiplication and circulation. For money is not meant to trickle in small drops. Money, like seed, carries within it the power of increase. When you plant one kernel of corn, the harvest is not one kernel in return. No, the harvest is a stalk, and on that stalk are many ears, and in each ear are hundreds of kernels. What was one becomes 1,000. This is the law of multiplication. Money obeys the same law. $1 commanded with authority can return as 10. 10 commanded can return as 100. When you speak, you are not limited by arithmetic. You are invoking divine mathematics, where the harvest always exceeds the seed. I recall a man named Joseph who began with very little. He had $100 left to his name, and instead of clinging to it in fear, he declared, "This $100 multiplies and circulates. I command it to return to me tenfold under grace in perfect ways." He used it to print flyers for his small landscaping service. Within 1 week, that $100 returned as $200 worth of new contracts. He laughed and said, "It was as if the money heard me and went to work on my behalf." That is exactly what happens. When you command money to multiply, you are not working harder. With your hands, you are setting money itself to work as a loyal servant. Let us take the metaphor of circulation. Consider blood in the body. It does not sit still. It moves, it nourishes, it returns, it renews. If blood stops circulating, the body suffers. In the same way, money is not meant to sit stagnant. It is meant to flow through channels, to move, to nourish, to bless, and to return. This is why hoarding never brings peace. Those who grip tightly to every coin live in fear, and their money grows sour. But those who command money to multiply and circulate live in freedom, for they know that every dollar sent out with authority returns in greater measure. Here is a declaration you may use. I command every dollar I spend to return multiplied. I decree that money circulates to me through multiple channels under grace in perfect ways. Say it when you pay a bill. Say it when you buy groceries. Say it when you invest in yourself. Speak it as though you are sending loyal workers into the world, workers who will not only return, but bring friends with them. One of my clients, Maria, practiced this daily. Each time she handed out money, she would bless it, saying, "You return, multiplied under grace in perfect ways." Within months, she noticed surprising streams of income, unexpected refunds, gifts, freelance offers, even a long-forgotten royalty check. She laughed, "I never know which door it will come through, but I always know it will come." This is the joy of circulation. You do not have to dictate the path. You only command the return. Now, some people may say, but what if I ask for too much? What if multiplication is greedy? To this I reply, greed grasps and hoards, but multiplication blesses and circulates. When you multiply money, you are not only enriching yourself, you are creating overflow that blesses others. The more money circulates through you, the more people are fed, clothed, healed, employed, uplifted. Think of the sun. It shines endlessly, never fearing lack. If the sun said I must keep my light to myself, the whole world would freeze. But in shining freely, the sun never diminishes. So it is with money. When you command multiplication, you are not taking from anyone. You are creating more for all. Let us practice together. I command the money I have now to multiply. I decree that it returns to me tenfold under grace in perfect ways. Feel the vibration of those words. They are not wishful thinking, they are spiritual law. The seed must yield a harvest. And here is another. I command money to circulate to me through multiple channels. I am open to new opportunities, unexpected sources, and joyful surprises under grace in perfect ways. This command activates the infinite kitchen in ways beyond your imagination. Raise a gift, a refund, a business idea, an investment return money has countless doors. You only need to open the way with your command. I once taught this principle in a small gathering. A man stood up and said, "That sounds fine for others, but my only source is my job. I can't imagine money coming from anywhere else." I smiled and replied, "Your job is not your source. It is only one channel. The source is infinite." The very next week, that man found a vintage guitar in his attic that he had forgotten about. On a whim, he sold it online. The buyer paid him 3 times what he expected. He returned to me astonished and said, "You were right. My job is not my only channel." Money is like water. It does not flow from only one spring. It flows from many underground streams bubbling up through unexpected places. When you command circulation, you open yourself to receive from sources you never considered. So, dear listener, take this step today. Speak aloud now. I command every dollar I spend to return multiplied. I decree that money circulates to me through multiple channels under grace in perfect ways. Say it daily. Say it as naturally as breathing. Watch how quickly the river begins to widen, deepen, and overflow. And here is your call to action. Comment the word multiply to set your intention. When you declare it publicly, you are not only speaking to yourself, you are planting a seed in the field of collective agreement. And as the seed is planted, so it shall multiply. There is a kind of prosperity that enriches only the self, and there is a higher prosperity that uplifts all. True wealth, the kind that lasts and expands, is win-win abundance. It is prosperity that blesses you and blesses others at the same time. Think of the ocean tide. When the tide rises, it does not lift one boat while sinking another. It raises all boats, equally great ships and little rafts alike. This is the nature of win-win abundance. It does not come by taking from another, but by creating overflow that elevates everyone in its path. Many people secretly fear commanding money because they think, if I gain, does someone else lose? But this is the thinking of a world that imagines scarcity. In truth, there is no shortage of supply. Infinite intelligence is not rationing blessings. The warehouse of the universe is not half empty, it is overflowing. When you command money, you are not depriving another. You are opening a new channel through which prosperity can circulate. And when you choose to command in a way that blesses others as well as yourself, your prosperity becomes magnetic, unstoppable, irresistible. I once worked with a woman named Clarissa. She longed for success in her bakery business, yet she felt guilty asking for large sums of money. "I don't want to be greedy," she told me. I asked her, "When your bakery prospers, what happens?" She thought for a moment and said, "Well, I could hire more staff. My suppliers would sell more flour and sugar. My customers would enjoy more cakes. My children would have more security." Her eyes widened as she realized her prosperity would ripple outward into dozens of lives. So I gave her this command. I command that wealth flows to me in ways that bless every person connected with me. My prosperity uplifts all under grace in perfect ways. Within 3 months, her bakery profits doubled. She hired 2 employees. A customer told her, "Coming here makes me feel happy. I think your joy is baked into the bread." Clarissa laughed and said, "Now I see my abundance is everyone's abundance. This is win-win wealth." When you command prosperity in this way, you remove the subconscious fear of being selfish. You step into the truth that your overflow nourishes the whole. Imagine a tree laden with fruit. Does the tree apologize for producing too much? No. It overflows, and the birds, the children, the passers-by, all are fed. Your wealth is the same. The more you command and receive, the more fruit hangs from your branches, feeding everyone who touches your life. So let us create a declaration together. I command abundance that blesses all. My wealth lifts others, provides joy, creates opportunities, and circulates goodness everywhere under grace in perfect ways. Say it until you feel the guilt dissolve. Say it until you understand that true prosperity is never selfish. It is service made manifest. One of my students, a man named Raphael, used this principle in his real estate business. Instead of commanding money for himself alone, he declared, I command prosperity that blesses every family I serve. As they find homes, I prosper too, under grace in perfect ways. His sales doubled within a year. Clients trusted him deeply, sensing that he truly desired their good. He told me, when I shifted my command from me to we, everything multiplied. This is the secret. When you command win-win abundance, you align with the very heartbeat of divine supply. For spirit never creates selfishly. Spirit creates universes of beauty, galaxies of wonder, overflowing gardens, infinite diversity, always abundance that serves all. So today, let us command together. I decree that my wealth blesses not only me, but my family, my community, and the world. I command prosperity that uplifts all boats under grace in perfect ways. Feel the joy of that truth. Your increase is not a threat to anyone. It is a rising tide, a fruit-laden tree, a light that shines without dimming. And here is your call to action. Tag someone whose life you'd love to see blessed by your abundance. Speak their name, bless them with your overflow, and let your prosperity ripple outward. There comes a moment in this journey when commanded money must shift from an effortful practice into a natural rhythm as simple as breathing. Just as the heart beats without our conscious instruction and the lungs draw in air without our remembering, so too can your financial commands become automatic, effortless, constant. This is the art of commanding money on autopilot. Think of an airplane. When a pilot first takes off, There is great attention, energy, and precision. Every movement of the controls is carefully considered. But once the plane reaches its cruising altitude, the pilot sets the autopilot. The plane continues its journey smoothly, steadily, without constant manual steering. The destination is assured. So it is with your financial commands. At first, you speak them deliberately with full attention. You practice, you emphasize, you feel the authority in your voice. But as you repeat them, as they enter the subconscious, a shift happens. Your words become your default vibration. They continue to work even when you are not thinking of them. You move from conscious effort into subconscious command, and at that point, prosperity flows 24/7. Consider the rhythm of your day. You wake up, you brush your teeth, you drink water. These small rituals happen without resistance because they are woven into your habit. Imagine if commanding money became just as natural. Imagine if the first words on your lips each morning were, "I command money to flow to me today freely and abundantly under grace in perfect ways." No strain, no struggle, just a natural declaration like greeting the sun. And before bed, imagine whispering as you drift into sleep, "I command money to multiply as I rest. I decree that unexpected income finds me even in my dreams under grace in perfect ways." This is the essence of autopilot. Your words travel with you through the day like loyal companions working even when your conscious mind is elsewhere. I once guided a man named Evan through this practice. He struggled with consistency. Sometimes he declared his commands with great fire, but then he would forget for weeks. I told him, anchor your command into the simple habits you already have. Say it when you sip your morning coffee. Say it while you tie your shoes. Say it when you set your phone alarm at night. Attach it to the rhythm of life until it becomes automatic. He followed my advice. Within a month, his commands became second nature. One morning, without even thinking, he found himself declaring, "I command money to flow freely today." Later that afternoon, his manager surprised him with a bonus. He laughed and told me I wasn't even trying. I was just breathing it into my day. That is the power of autopilot. The subconscious mind is the great autopilot of human life. It records every repetition, every belief, every phrase you feed it. Once a command enters the subconscious, it no longer requires effort. The subconscious becomes the servant that works without sleep, without pause, always fulfilling the program you have given it. This is why repetition is vital. At first, the conscious mind resists. It doubts, it argues, it forgets. But the subconscious is patient. The more you declare, the more you impress the truth upon it, until one day the command is accepted. And from that moment on, it runs on autopilot, producing results in ways you cannot imagine. I recall a woman who struggled with the fear of bills. Each time she saw a bill arrive in the mail, her heart sank. I told her to begin commanding every time she touched a bill. I command that this bill is paid with ease. Money multiplies as I give and returns to me swiftly under grace in perfect ways. At first it felt strange, but she persisted, attaching the command to the act of opening the mail. Within weeks, she noticed a strange shift. Bills no longer triggered fear. They became reminders of her command. Soon, unexpected deposits began to arrive, refunds, overpayments returned, even a check from a class action settlement she hadn't known about. She smiled and said, "Now every envelope feels like a gift." This is the subconscious at work. What once triggered fear now triggered command. The habit had taken root and autopilot had engaged. Perhaps the most powerful autopilot of all is the state of sleep. The conscious mind sleeps, but the subconscious never does. It is awake, alert, receptive to every word spoken before slumber. This is why bedtime commands are so effective. They sink directly into the fertile soil of the subconscious and grow overnight. Before you close your eyes, speak this with calm authority. As I sleep, my money commands continue. Wealth multiplies for me. Money flows to me. Prosperity finds me. I awaken richer than before, under grace in perfect ways. Repeat it until your body relaxes. Let the words be the last vibration your mind hears as you drift away. Many people report waking up to unexpected deposits, messages of new opportunities, or simply a sense of peace that magnetizes prosperity during the day. One of my students, Lydia, practiced this nightly. She told me I began to dream of finding money. In my dreams, I opened drawers filled with bills, or I discovered checks in my pocket. And then in waking life, money began showing up in the most unlikely places. Her subconscious had accepted the command and was carrying it into her daily reality. To help you see the power of autopilot, let me share a few stories. Jason was a delivery driver who began declaring, "I command unexpected tips to flow to me daily under grace in perfect ways." At first, he said it consciously before work. Within weeks, it became automatic. One day, he caught himself smiling as he drove, whispering the command without effort. That very week, he received the largest tip of his career, 5 times the usual amount. Sonia, a school teacher, tied her commands to her morning walk. Each step she would declare, "Money flows. Money grows." Soon, the rhythm became so natural that she found herself chanting it silently throughout the day. Within months, her side business selling crafts online exploded, with sales multiplying beyond what she had expected. Mark, a retiree, wrote his commands on sticky notes and placed them by his bed. Each night before sleep, he would whisper, "Money multiplies for me even in the night." Within a month, his dormant investments surged, and he received a letter about a pension adjustment that increased his income permanently. What do these stories have in common? Autopilot. The commands moved from conscious effort into subconscious rhythm. Here are some ways to place your money commands on autopilot. Morning anchor. Say your command as soon as you wake before looking at your phone. Mealtime anchor. Speak a blessing over your food and add, "As I am nourished, money multiplies for me." Payment anchor. Every time you spend, declare, "This money returns multiplied." Bedtime anchor. End the day with, "I sleep in prosperity. I wake in increase." Do not attempt to remember them all at once. Choose 1 or 2 anchors and repeat them daily until they are effortless. Then add more. Soon, you will find yourself commanding without even thinking. When commands are on autopilot, prosperity is no longer a practice. You do it becomes the atmosphere you live in. Just as fish live in water, you begin to live in a field of command. Money obeys you even when you are silent, for your subconscious is declaring on your behalf. I call this the 24/7 flow. It is prosperity that never sleeps, never pauses, never diminishes. It is as natural as the tide, as steady as the sun's rising. When you live in this flow, money becomes your constant companion, circulating, multiplying, and returning without strain. So let us seal this lesson with a final affirmation. Speak it with calm certainty. I now set my money commands on autopilot. My subconscious declares for me day and night. Money flows to me 24/7. Prosperity is my atmosphere under grace in perfect ways. Say it until you feel the truth settle into your bones. You are no longer a beggar, no longer a struggler. You are a commander whose words move money even while you rest. If you are ready to step into this level, declare it publicly now. Type the words 24/7 flow below. This is your commitment that prosperity will no longer be a sometimes practice. It will be your constant atmosphere, your unbroken rhythm, your autopilot reality. Beloved soul, we now stand at the threshold of the great practice, the living current of money flow. You have been shown the truth that thought, word, and feeling are the mold in which substance takes shape. Now you shall live in it. And the first key, the golden entry point, is gratitude. Gratitude is not passive. It is not a whispered thank you that drifts away like smoke. Gratitude is electricity. It is a magnet. It is the warm pulse of the heart opening wide to life's gifts, commanding with joy, I see you, I honor you, and I multiply you. Every time you say thank you with full spirit, you are writing a command into the field of infinite supply. Picture yourself standing in a vast field, unseen currents, swirling all around you, magnetic rivers of possibility. When you speak gratitude, your words become a tuning fork. They vibrate into the field, and the field responds. Gratitude is your first song, and command is your second. Together, they create the loop, a never-ending current of receiving and creating, and receiving. Pause now. Take a slow breath. Place your hand upon your chest. Feel the heartbeat, the rhythm of life itself, and softly whisper, I am grateful for the money that flows to me with ease. I am grateful for the evidence of abundance all around me. Let those words rest in the room like soft, golden light. Notice how they feel. Gratitude relaxes the nervous system. It shifts you from fear into receiving, and from receiving into commanding. Gratitude makes the soil fertile. Command plants the seed. Now listen carefully. Command is not force. Command is not straining or grasping. Command is alignment. It is when your word speaks with the authority of divine law. Florence Scovel Shinn declared, your word is your wand. And indeed, when gratitude prepares the ground, command wields the wand with certainty. Imagine writing in your journal each morning. On one page you write, I am so grateful for money in my life. On the very next line you write, money, I command you to flow in greater streams today. Gratitude anchors you in joy. Command sends forth the instruction. Together, they are unstoppable. Let us practice. Speak with me, repeating after each line. I am grateful for every dollar that has touched my hands. I command money to return multiplied, pressed down, and overflowing. I am grateful for the roof above me paid for by divine substance. I command money to sustain and expand my dwelling with ease. I am grateful for the lessons that taught me strength. I command money to now come without struggle, in harmony with my soul. Do you feel it? The loop is alive within you. Gratitude softens, command directs, and together they create the dance of attraction. Now picture gratitude as the in-breath command, as the out-breath. You breathe in, thank you. You breathe out, it is done. Inhale, I am blessed. Exhale, I command abundance now. And so the lungs, the heart, the very breath of life become a living temple of money flow. This practice is simple, yet profound. Each day, write one thing you are grateful for about money, and then give one direct command. Perhaps you write, I am grateful for the $10 that bought my meal yesterday. Then you command, I now call forth money to cover every meal with ease and joy. In this way, you train your consciousness to always hold the dual note receiving and commanding, relaxing, and directing. The loop must be unbroken. Do not let a day pass without it. For if gratitude is the magnet, command is the lightning bolt, and together they create the magnetic storm of manifestation. Now, close your eyes for a final moment in this block. Feel waves of gratitude flowing through your body like golden water. Then, from your chest, project a beam of command, sharp and radiant, saying within yourself, Money, I thank you. Money, I command you. Money, I live in your flow. Yes, it is so. Write one thing you are grateful for about money today. Plant it in the soil of gratitude, then water it with the word of command. Beloved, let us step now into the anchoring of your identity. For what is practice without embodiment? What is command without posture? You cannot whisper abundance with your words, yet slump your shoulders like a beggar. You cannot say, I command wealth, while your body trembles with doubt. Every cell must align. Every gesture must become a decree. You are not merely speaking affirmations. You are becoming the money commander. This is the one who walks into a room and the very air shifts because prosperity has entered. This is the one who knows that money is not outside them, but within them, waiting to respond. Let us begin with posture. Stand tall as you hear these words. Lift your chest. Imagine a crown upon your head, the crown of dominion. Feel the length of your spine like a golden rod of authority. Your body is a throne and wealth is your loyal servant. Can you sense it? Already the shift begins. Now affirm with me, my body walks in wealth. My posture radiates prosperity. I command with the authority of divine law. Yes, each affirmation is not only sound, but shape. Each word settles into your stance, your eyes, your breath. Next, let us anchor the tone of voice. Money does not respond to whimpers. It responds to clarity, certainty, resonance. Go to a mirror, look into your own eyes, and declare, I am wealth. I am prosperity. I command money to flow. Do not rush. Do not whisper as though ashamed. Speak as though mountains move at your word. Speak as though rivers change their course at your command, for indeed substance obeys you when you align with divine law. Florence Scovel Shinn said, You must act as if you had already received, and so act. Walk across the floor now as though every step were upon golden tiles. Speak to your reflection as though you were already clothed in riches. Smile as though the victory is yours, for it is. Daily anchor this mindset. Each morning before the rush of the world enters, stand in your power. Place your hands upon your hips, lift your chin, and breathe deeply. Then declare, I walk in wealth. I move in abundance. I command money with ease. This is not theater. This is law. The subconscious mind is impressionable like soft clay. When you impress it daily with the posture, the tone, and the affirmations of the money commander, it molds itself into that identity. Soon you no longer act wealthy, you are wealth. Consider this analogy a captain at sea. If the captain speaks orders with hesitation, the crew grows nervous and the ship drifts. But when the captain's voice is steady, strong, and calm, the ship obeys and the course is sure. You are that captain. Your crew is money, opportunity, resource supply. If you waver, they scatter. If you command, they rally. Every day you anchor your command with 3 practices. Posture, stand in authority. Tone, speak with clarity. Word, affirm with certainty. Repeat, repeat, repeat until your very aura carries the vibration of command. People will notice. Doors will open. Money will respond. Pause with me now. Place both feet firmly on the ground. Straighten your back. Feel the earth supporting you, the heavens crowning you. Take one slow breath and declare, I am the money commander. I walk in wealth. I live in wealth. I breathe in wealth. Let the words echo in you. Let them become flesh. Yes, beloved, this is your new daily ritual. Posture, tone, word aligned as one. If you will walk as a money commander from now on, comment, I walk in wealth. Let this be your public decree, your signal to the universe that you have stepped into dominion. Beloved, nothing stirs the soul like the living testimony of one who has walked the path and tasted the fruit. Stories carry vibration. They ignite faith. When you hear how another has stood commanded and received, your own belief stretches, saying, if it happened for them, it must happen for me. And so let me place before you the tapestry of real-life commanders. Each story, like a jewel, shines with its own light, yet together they form a crown of proof the law works. The command is answered, and abundance always responds. Maria had always whispered her prayers. A quiet woman, she feared money as though money were a stern master judging her worth. She worked 2 jobs, yet always behind on bills. Then she learned of the gratitude command loop and the posture of the money commander. At first, she felt silly. To stand tall, to declare before a mirror, money, I command you to flow, it felt like pretending. But she persisted. Day after day, she stood straighter. Day after day, her whisper grew into a voice of certainty. Then it happened. Out of nowhere, her company announced a new supervisory role. She felt the nudge apply. The old Maria would have shrunk back. But the new Maria, the commander, walked into the interview room with shoulders lifted and voice steady. She spoke with authority, and the role was hers. With it came a raise nearly double her old pay. She wrote in her journal, gratitude opened me, command directed me, and wealth obeyed. James, a father of 3, had been drowning in debt. Bills piled like waves, and each night he lay awake wondering how to stay afloat. One morning, he heard the call anchor the money commander mindset. He thought it absurd. How could posture and voice change his bank account? Yet something within urged him try it for 21 days. So he did. Each morning in his small living room, he declared aloud, I walk in wealth. I command money to flow. I am sustained by divine supply. On the 18th day, an envelope arrived. An old insurance claim, long forgotten, had been processed. Inside, a check large enough to wipe out nearly half his debt. Tears filled his eyes. He laughed, saying, the law truly answers the one who commands. Now, James teaches his children the practice so they grow up not fearing money, but speaking to it as a friend, a servant, a flowing stream. A young woman named Aisha dreamed of starting a bakery, but scarcity haunted her. She worked in a cafe, barely covering rent. She whispered to herself, it's not possible. Who am I to dream so big? Until one night, she read Florence Scovel Shinn's words, do not limit the channels. Money is only one of many. Something ignited. She began to practice command. Each night, she lit a candle, placed her journal before her, and wrote, "I am grateful for the dream within me. I command money to open the way." Within weeks, a local community program offered grants to young entrepreneurs. She applied with trembling hands, but with the posture of the commander. She received not only the grant, but mentorship and a place to bake. Today, her bakery is thriving, and she says, "Every loaf is a testimony." Gratitude and command built these walls. Not all stories begin in youth. Robert, age 70, believed his financial days were behind him. His pension was small, his savings slim. He felt invisible to wealth. But his granddaughter introduced him to the practice of gratitude command. Skeptical, he said, "At my age, what could possibly change?" Yet to humor her, he began. Each morning, standing before his mirror, he declared, "I am not done. I command money to flow even now." Soon, a neighbor approached him with an opportunity tutoring young students in mathematics. It was work he loved, and he was paid generously. More than that, it brought joy, purpose, and new friendships. He laughed and said, "I thought I was finished, but the commander within me said otherwise." Beloved noticed this in every story. There was a waiting period, a suspense. Maria doubted. James thought it absurd. Aisha trembled. Robert dismissed himself. But here is the secret: the suspense is not the denial of your command. It is the gestation of your command. Just as a seed planted does not sprout instantly, so too, the money command often works beneath the soil of the unseen before bursting forth. You must trust the suspense. Trust the silence. Trust the days when nothing seems to move. For beneath the soil, the roots are forming. Beneath the silence, the supply is arranging. And now, beloved, let me turn to you. What will your story be? Will it be like Maria's, rising into a new role? Like James's, a sudden windfall? Like Aisha's, a dream turned tangible? Like Robert's, a late chapter made golden? Your story is already being written. Every word of gratitude, every command spoken, every posture of dominion is ink on the page of your destiny. Pause and let yourself imagine 6 months from now. What story will you tell? Will you say, "I stood, I spoke, I commanded, and the money came"? Yes, you will, for the law is exact. The word never returns void. Now I invite you share your own story, even if it is still unfolding. Your testimony may inspire someone else, as these stories have inspired you. Speak it aloud, write it, declare it. Let the loop continue, gratitude, command, testimony. For when one commander speaks, another awakens. And together, we form a chorus that no poverty can silence.